Today I am going to spill all the secrets of painting an expressive magnolia flower. Most important aspect of a watercolor painting is to not only know the techniques but how and when to apply each one of them. So, through this video, I am going to help you discover various ways in which you can paint your florals. Wet on dry. This is one of the most common methods which we all have tried when we started working with watercolors. Just touch your wet brush to the paper and you are done with the first stroke of wet on dry. This usually produces hard edges which can be softened when you apply clear water along the hard edges or keep them as is to define any object in 1, 2 or 3 dimensions. This comes very handy when we paint illustrations. But we need to keep in our mind that through the entire painting, we can't use this method. And the viewer might get disturbed with so many objects or dimensions, which might confuse where exactly the focus point is. Wet on wet. As the name suggests, we will apply our wet brush on pre-wetted paper exactly the way we are applying right now. This helps us to get soft edges without any hard boundary or hard edge. A full painting, of course, cannot be treated with this technique. Hence, we do need some hard edges for complete composition. This is the foundation of many paintings like landscape, skies, water, etc. It comes very handy even for florals where you need to paint a background and all on wet on wet. The first is that you can cover a large area without much of a hassle as well as cover up all the whites of the paper without having much of an overwhelming feeling. That's one of the reasons of this method being pretty famous amongst beginner art enthusiasts. First layer is all about covering large areas, and here we are using Quinacridone for shade from Daniel Smith, Compose Opera, Michello Mission Gold, Bright Violet again from Michello Mission Gold to complete our first layer. Along with the greenish yellow as the first layer of green shade, we are going to apply shades of green as well as the darker blue and violet to complete the second layer, which is majorly comprising of your glazing and multiple wash method. Glazing or layering, which is mainly to apply another layer of wet paints on top of already applied dry paints of layer 1. Here we are going ahead and adding a mix of Quinacridone coral along with Compose Opera and then blending it with the help of a blending brush for our second layer. This helps to define more dimension into a painting. I usually use a more advanced method as I did explain here rather than only going with a flat wash of these colors. If you use your blending brush, then you will get various shades of this coral as well as the Compose Opera in your single technique, which is actually seen from the inside as well as from the outside. Moving on to my next part, which is majorly glazing on top of the bud of this particular flower, which is very famously known as Magnolia Flower. Another important aspect of a watercolor painting is to mix your colors on the paper. I am one of the persons who have mixed less of the colors on your palette compared to what I mix on the paper. This really helps me to add that flavor of directly painting on the paper, as well as it creates a lot of surprises for me, along with lots and lots of excitement. Watercolor is all about excitement, surprises, and accidents. In case you are working with watercolors, these are few of the important aspects which you can keep in mind working directly with your colors on paper and slowly steadily building up on your subject. Pulling the paints. This is the exact method which I am using right now for my painting. I have added a darker value towards the bottom part of this petal, and I am going ahead and pulling the same color from the bottom towards the top on the pre-wetted paper. This is one of the very important techniques which you can use for many of your other floral paintings. Finally, let's touch upon the last method, which is majorly our multiple wash method. There are various ways of doing multiple washes. The first is wet on wet, exactly the way we did right now. To go with the first layer, which is applying some water with your damp brush, which has paints on it. The second layer again goes in the similar way. After my first layer is for detamp. This really helps to create the soft edges which we need for a floral painting. The second way is the basically glazing or layering, which we have understood earlier. Either it can be a flat wash or else it can be a variegated wash. I hope you guys are already aware of the various washes. In case you are not, I would soon be coming up with a tutorial where we get to understand different kind of washes that can guide you through various paintings in future. I am going ahead and using all these four methods, majorly your wet on dry, wet on wet, glazing, layering, multiple washes, and pulling the paints technique for going over the various parts of the painting. Some more greens, which is majorly my three different kinds of greens, that is greenish yellow, then your olive green, and some amount of forest green. I very much use Indanthrene blue. You can also go ahead with any other blue of your choice for adding the darker values of the greens. In case you want to have a better view of the floral paintings, please do join me on my own website www.vibrantparcels.com, where there are more elaborate tutorials available.